ours doesn't. I'm at the St. Isaac Jogues Catholic Church. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. In 1942, two things happened in and around Georgetown. The Catholic Church purchased the La Salette Seminary in Olivet from the Nazarene College, and an old house and church were purchased on the north side of Georgetown. Until the buildings were going to be repaired and renovated, we rented an old building to hold our services in. This building was going to be up for sale, so it was more centrally located in Georgetown, and it's on, I think you know, West 7th Street. And the La Salette fathers decided to buy the property, which consisted of the church and 3 lots for $1,500. And the fathers, and then the rectory next to it had 2 lots with the rectory, and it was purchased for $1,027. The original property they purchased was sold. Then the work began. Since the buildings were run down, much remodeling repair had to be done. Some of the first tasks that needed to be done was install a new roof, chimney, imitation brick insulation on the exterior, and you've probably seen that old insulation on there for years. Steam heating and windows and doors in the church and the rectory. This was paid for by the Altar and Rosary Fidelity, which is our women's group, and it was organized in January of 1943. Also, the diocese, to help us defray our expenses, pitched in $15,000. The church that is up here, it was the Holy Tabernacle. It's just a white frame building, and you'll see pictures here where we've had our church. We had this brick insulation, and we finally bricked it. There's pictures up here if you want to see them later. The exterior of the church had been rebuilt into classic design, covered with brick insulation, soft shades of white and cream used in the interior, which contrasted with the crimson and gold of the altar. White pillars were used in the sanctuary, recessed sculpturing, and beautiful art glass windows. The old rundown building had finally become a house of God. In 1945, Father Micah was appointed pastor. There are a few other priests before him, but I want to pay special tribute to him. The floors of the church were sanded 3 times, filled, and waxed. Pews to seat 300 were ordered, and more later. The church basement was excavated, re-cemented foundation and walls, lights installed, ceiling was tiled, and the floor in the hall and kitchen were cemented. The grounds were leveled, grass seed, trees, and evergreen trees were planted. Then in 1949, the rectory's basement was excavated and a concrete foundation was built as a protective porch leading to the basement. All the material was donated. And this is where I want to highlight Father Micah. He was not only a man, he was a priest and a workaholic. I remember him as a young girl, seeing him work constantly. He'd be taking his wheelbarrow with dirt out from the basement. It was just unbelievable how much work he did there. He was responsible for helping with the excavation of the rectory basement. He would dig even at night. He was constantly working or doing something to make our parish and rectory more livable. He was a very quiet man. He even took a trailer and hauled bricks from the old St. Mary's Church in Westville and thoroughly cleaned each brick and built a garage, 24 by 18, in the back of our rectory. He used 7,000 bricks. Can you imagine all the work that he did? He was our pastor for approximately 10 years, and in those days they would transfer priests around to different parishes anywhere from 4 to 6 years, but he stayed with us longer. Every pastor that we had made improvements and kept our parish in good condition. However, our last priest, Father John Pininski, I don't know if you're familiar with him, was here from 1986 until he retired in 2013, and he was in his 80s. During that time, he continued making improvements to our parish. During the late 80s, we had approximately 80 kids in our youth group. It was a fun time, and our parish was quite active then. We had a little over maybe approximately 110 families. That's quite a few. In 1988, at the direction of Father John Bino, and I headed up a drive to ask our parishioners to donate money so that our church could be bricked. Finally be bricked. We had that red old insulation on there for so many years. We felt this was quite an accomplishment, especially since our bishop was having another fundraising drive going on, which we also headed up. In September of 1989, John Bino, on a Saturday, was working on this project. He fell ill and in a matter of hours passed away. He was one of our trustees and a very devout Catholic. Then on March 8th, 2009, on a rainy night, lightning started an electrical fire in our church's basement, which shot up to our altar. Luckily, a neighbor looked outside when the noise hit, and he could see smoke and flames coming out of the church. It took approximately 2 years to finally replace, restore, and put everything back into place. We were also able to secure one of those big refrigerators, similar to the one at the First Church of Christ's Community Center. It was wonderful. We held dinners, annual chili suppers, bake sales, and had plenty of cool storage space. During and after Father retired in 2013, our membership kept decreasing, either by people moving or passing away, as a lot of you experience in your churches. And since our church was under the direction of St. Mary's in Westville, we went from 3 masses to 2 masses a weekend. However, a mass is held 7 days a week at any Catholic church. Not only is our parish membership decreasing, it seems as though our membership of all churches of all denominations is declining, especially in this area, and we do not see the youth as we once did. Therefore, effective May 22nd of this year, our bishop will be taking steps to close or alter certain parishes in his diocese. After 80 years, there will no longer be a Catholic church in Georgetown. St. Mary's will become a secondary church to St. Paul's in Danville. This means that church services will be held at St. Mary's, but there will no longer be a priest living there. You may have noticed in the commercial news of a couple weeks ago that there may be a possibility for the bishop to keep Holy Family in Danville alive, but nothing is certain. We're all saddened by this news. What was once a flourishing parish in Georgetown will no longer be. So it's just really sad. I've gone there all my life, and it's just really hard to find, to go somewhere else and things. So I want to thank you for inviting us. We had a good time. It was very enjoyable. And Brenda and I brought things from the new museum, if you want to look it over and or ask questions. And next Wednesday, May 27th, Marsha Lambert and Dorothy Swain, they're both 98, will be coming to our historical house. And if you have any questions or want to talk to them about Georgetown, feel free to come and ask them. And then also we'd like to invite you, we're going to have a ladies' tea, which is going to be headed up by Judy Carlton on May 4th on a Saturday at noon. And we would like for you to come in and join us. I know you have before, so do you have any questions or